Happy Homebrew Wednesday, folks. Ryan Patrick Murphy here, drinking a little homebrew. Still got the What's Up Bra Brown Ale. It's a good brown ale right there. It's always hard to find good brown ales. Anyway, I don't have a lot to cover this week, so I thought maybe do a quick little recap of my, what is it, Cool Brewing jacket, kind of fermentation jacket we'll call it. Now I've had a brew ferment in that for, we're at a week and a half, probably a week and a half tomorrow. I was actually going to keg that brew tomorrow, but I think I got to do that on Thursday. Anyway, it worked great. Got the temperature down from 78 to 66, 65 within like the first 12 hours, I believe. And it just managed to keep the temperature around 65. Even got as low as 64 at times. After the initial temperature drop, I was using just 1 2-liter bottle, and it maintained the temperature, so that was great. I did notice that as long as things are still actively fermenting, I did a lot better job of cooling down. And at first I was kind of wondering, why would that be? Because once it started slowing down, it took a little more to keep that temperature in there, and it occurred to me, because while things are fermenting, things are moving around. So that liquid's constantly moving around. And where that soda bottle is on the outside of the fermenter, that ice in there is constantly grabbing new heat. So I was able to cool down the fermenter a lot easier. And then as that fermentation slowed down, it wasn't moving as much. So really there's one part of the fermenter that might be getting cool, while the rest really isn't. Now, that being said, you might be asking, how did I know what the temperature was inside my fermenter the whole time? And some of you who have watched my previous videos already know it was because of the tilt hydrometer. I think this is a perfect duo of equipment to use if you don't have like a fridge or something to put your a fridge or a keezer to put your fermenter in. Now, once fermentation was about 1.005 for a couple days, I stopped replacing the water bottle or the ice bottles. So it is in there and it has warmed up again. We're at 74 degrees right now. So this is the brew right now. You will notice that the gravity does say 1004, but when you do the math, it's probably because of the higher temperature that's a lower gravity reading. And apparently as the temperature goes up, the gravity reading will show lower. So it really calculates at 1005. So it's holding there. I do kind of think that was a little low for that beer. I need to go pop that into Beersmith and see if that is what is expected. It's a speckled heifer from Northern Brewer, but Northern Brewer doesn't generally put final gravity on their recipes, I don't think. So to me that seemed really low, but I never really did a lot of final. I don't think I ever did a final gravity. I had occasionally done original gravity on beers, but I never did final gravity, so I don't really know how common that is. I always kind of expect a lot of these beers to kind of finish about 10-10, but excuse me, this is proving me wrong. So according to the tilt, we are at probably 4.07% ABV on that beer, which is about what I expected. And it's actually better than I expected because of that number there right now. You know, 10-10, it still would have been like 3.15, I think, if it had hit 10-10 and stayed there, but it kept going, so that's good. So, you know, that Cool Brewing jacket's awesome because you can use it with a keg too. If you're gonna go take one of your kegs and party or whatever, use it to keep that cool. A couple 7-pound bags of ice. It's just really, if you don't have access to a fridge to put your fermenter in, get one of these. Freezing a couple 2-liter bottles of water and swapping them out every morning and night, which is what I was doing during the major part of the fermentation. is perfect. It'll work great. And you know, and depending on your environment, your climate, you may not have to swap it out as much, or you might have to swap it out more. If you're sitting 80 some degrees all the time, you may have to swap out more than that. But I think it's perfect for where we are, because I try to keep the house about 72 in the summer if I can. It's gotten a couple degrees warmer lately, and I'm not worried about it being the temperature being up higher now. I don't think I'm gonna get really any off flavors at this point. I think things are done. It might be cleaning up a little bit, but I'm not too worried about this. And really, even for that yeast, 74 is great right now. So I can go throw another bottle in there right now if I wanted to, just to hold it at this. It's probably not gonna be a problem. So I am trying to work on a new beer recipe. This would be one that I would share. But I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet. A couple years ago, I did what we called the YouTube Amber Ale, which I came up with. Actually, you guys came up with ingredients, and I formed a recipe out of it. And I've submitted that recipe and tweaked that recipe and gotten a ribbon for it at least once, maybe twice. So, you know, it really was your guys' reward. I kind of want to do that again. I don't know if I'd submit it to a competition or anything, but it would just be a cool beer to have or try, you know. So I believe last time I did something come up with a specialty grain and a hop. That seemed to work really well. You know, and I think I may have even thrown out there, and come up with a beer style, but everybody would kind of pick everything in the list. So I think what we'll do this for now is, if you want to put we'll say specialty grade, because I'll probably use 2-row, because that's what I got right now is just 2-row. I don't want to go buy Maris Otter or something for this. So let's do the specialty grain and a hop. Just because it gets submitted doesn't necessarily mean it'll get used. And I think I have just few enough viewers. Maybe we can come up with something pretty cool. And if I don't get enough things to come up with something, either I'll still figure it out, or I don't know, we'll figure out something. You know, it may just be a challenge of use these ingredients. You know what? You may come up with a weird specialty malt. So I'm hoping nothing too strange, but you know, maybe it's something I gotta go get anyway. So anyway, cheers. 17. If you like watching my videos, don't forget to hit the little bell down there so you get notified. Like and subscribe to the videos. Don't forget to comment below. Comments help. And if you put in your little submission for ingredients for the next Right Channel YouTube beer, hey, we may have a recipe by next week. We'll see. Cheers. 17.